So starting on your back, have your knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor, and take your ankles and knees hip distance apart. Take your arms out to the side at shoulder height, palms facing up. And then gently allow your knees to come over, both knees come over to the right, and your head turns to the left. And take a few breaths here. If this feels okay, you can draw the top knee on top of the bottom knee, stacking the knees and the ankles. Otherwise, return to the previous position, keeping the feet and the knees apart. So gentle, relaxed supine twist. When you're ready, breathe in, bring your knees back to the centre. On the next out breath, take both knees over to the left and your head gently turns to the right. So there's no strain in the neck, just turning to face the opposite direction to the knees. Once again, you can keep the knees and ankles apart, or if your back feels okay, you can draw the knees and ankles together. Drawing the knees and ankles together increases the twist. If that's not for you, then keep the knees and ankles apart. Just continue to breathe gently into the back. Breathing in, bring the knees up to the chest. Hold the knees with the hands. And for a few rounds of breathing, drawing the knees into the chest, gently lifting the tailbone from the mat, and then allowing the knees to come away from the chest, and the tailbone releases back to the floor. So do that between 3 and 5 times. And then roll over onto your sides and come into all fours, so onto your hands and knees. So starting position for cat pose, so stack the shoulders above the wrists, hips above the knees, and keep the arms straight as you begin to move the spine. So as you breathe in, allow the tailbone to lift, the shoulder blades draw together behind your back and your head lifts. And as you breathe out, tuck the tailbone under round the spine so the upper back comes to the ceiling and the head comes down between the arms. And continue to move in that way, so as you breathe in, the tailbone lifts, shoulder blades draw towards each other behind your back, head lifts, and as you breathe out, rounding the spine, head comes down between the arms. As you continue to move, feel each time that the vertebra can almost begin to move independently. Don't worry if you can't feel this initially, but have a feeling that one vertebra can move, and then the next, and then the next, as the movement waves up your spine from the tailbone to the head, and then back down from the head to the tailbone. And then come back to a neutral position with the spine. We're going to lower the right shoulder to the floor by taking the right arm onto the floor, threading the hand between the left hand and the left knee. It's like threading a needle. And then allowing the right side of the face to relax down on the floor, the right shoulder on the floor, and the whole of the right arm. Check in with the knees and the hips and the ankles to see that they're all even. So this is a gentle twist. Then as you breathe in, we're going to draw the right arm up. So the elbow leads up to the ceiling, then the right hand. As you breathe out, come back down, threading the needle. And as you breathe in, the right elbow lifts to the ceiling and then the right hand. And continue that movement for 5 breaths. So as you breathe in, lead with the elbow to come up, and as you breathe out, threading the hand back between the left hand and left knee. If you can, isolate the movement in the upper body by keeping the knees and the ankles equally on the floor, that's great. Then we're going to repeat that to the left. So thread the left hand between the right hand and the right knee. Allow the left arm to come to the floor, the left side of the face, and breathe in this twist for a few breaths. Knees, ankles, hips, all equally aligned. And then when you're ready, we'll begin to move. So as you breathe in, the left elbow will lift to the ceiling and then open up the arm. So the hand comes up, and as you breathe out, threading the needle and repeating that movement for 5 breaths. leading with the elbow as you breathe in, and then relaxing down as you breathe out. Perhaps noticing that each time you come up, you can open up a little bit further. And all the while keeping the knees and ankles equal weight on the floor. Come back into your normal cat position. Just take a couple of movements, one shoulder moving towards the same hip. So these are side bends. Do that once or twice. And then keeping the hips over the knees as much as possible. Begin to walk the hands away from the knees and allow the underneath the shoulders, the armpits to open up. So you're working the armpits down towards the floor while the hips stay above the knees. Tendency is for the hips to come forward, so keep the hips back. You may be able to rest the forehead on the floor. You may be able to look towards your hands. Keep the arms straight and active when you do this. And then walk the hands back up into your cat. Tuck the toes under. Push into the hands and lift the hips high. So we're coming onto hands and feet now rather than hands and knees into a downward facing dog. And it's fine to bend the knees. Keep the armpits moving towards the feet. Bend the knees and perhaps take the abdomen, the belly button to the top of the thighs. Over time you can begin to take the heels back away from you and down, but it's absolutely fine to keep the knees bent. The aim is to open up under the armpits and to access a stretch in the hamstrings at the back of the legs. You can try alternating, bending one knee and straightening the other if that's easier. Just beginning to access that stretch in the hamstring, keeping the tailbone lifted. And then walk the feet into the hands. Take your hands to your hips and stand up. Step one foot back, so the right foot step back and encourage the heel down to the floor. Front knees bent, so roaming the front knee over the ankle. You can take the arms behind you, perhaps hold the wrists or even hold the elbows. But encourage that back heel down to the floor so you get that hamstring stretch. And then we'll go to the other side. So left heel back, front knee bent. Perhaps use a different arm position, lifting the arms up, bending at the elbows and encouraging the chest forward so we're opening the chest.